will feel good when you hear yourself, right, beta?
Yes.
Recording when you hear yourself giving the explanation or the answer, you feel good. What do you say?
Yes.
That's why I'm asking you. Okay, now you explain, beta.
Ma'am, it started now.
Yeah, I heard it, beta. Thank you. Okay, now explain, beta.
The sea creature in that there is a dead body or covered with the sand or a clay in the high pressure in and the organism it change into petroleum and natural gas.
It is only high pressure, beta, or is there something else? The temperature is also high.
Yes.
Yes, at the bottom of
Yes.
the sea, temperature is high. You know that? The
Yes.
bottom of the sea,
Yes.
because the dead organisms are many, and the dead organisms produce a lot of carbon dioxide, which makes the temperature high. I think you know that, right, beta?
Yes,
When
ma'am.
the bodies are becoming dead, the temperature increases. The carbon dioxide increases the temperature of the environment for the decomposition of the dead body. You understand?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we see one by one how does it form. What is this bit of ocean? I hope it is not blurred. Is it blurred?
No, ma'am, it's clear.
It's clear. Okay, so this is
No, ma'am.
ocean. Is it okay, beta?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. It's okay.
Now this is 300 to 400 million years ago. Can you imagine? 300 to 400 million years ago I'm talking about. These were the organisms in the sea, right, beta? Is this clear?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
You can see the bottom of the sea. This is the bottom of the sea. Can you see this? This is the bottom of the sea. Now observe. This is, what should I say, earth, and this is water, that is sea. That's all. Now let's come to the second one. 50 to 100 million years ago. What beta? 50 to 100 million years ago. See this. That was 300 to 400 million years ago. This is 50 to 100 million years. So we are evolving now. Plants, animals died. See over here. If we compare, you see this portion? Yes or no? This portion has become,
Yes.
you understood what I'm doing? They are dead
Plants and
animals. Remains means dead. Right, beta? Skeleton and all this. So plants, animal remains are there. Now on top of that, we have sand and silt. What we have, beta? Sand and silt.
sentence.
Did you understand this? And from where you're getting this sand and silt? From river water. Because you know that river water, they drain their silt into the ocean and the sea. I hope you know that. River water
Yes,
carries
ma'am.
sand and silt along with them. And where do they meet? They drain everything in the sea water. You know that or not? River
Yes.
empties itself in the sea always. So from where you getting sand and silt? From the river. On top of that there is water. We have got all these organisms. Is this clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Evolution. This is
Yes,
evolution.
ma'am.
This portion became wider like this, and on top of that we have got sand and silt. So pressure is more. Yes, beta.
Yes,
Pressure is
ma'am.
more.
Yes.
Yes,
Now
ma'am.
come to third. Again, I will show you the comparison. Now, this portion is here, this much. This portion has become a bit less. Yes or no? Look at this portion.
Yes.
Yes.
Look at this portion. This is
Yes,
formed.
ma'am.
Why? This has become less. Why? Because of the pressure. Now, why the pressure is increased? Now, I will show you again. Because
Yes.
This portion has become this portion. Is clear? That's why the pressure has increased and this level has come down. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All of you understood?
Yes.
And now we drill to get the oil and gas deposits from the fossils. The remains are called as fossils. So this fossil has got transformed to oil and gas deposits and we drill it out. What are we doing with her? We are doing the drilling. What are we doing? Drilling.
Yes.
Is this clear? All of you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Nicely. How the petroleum is formed and how we take it out. Yes, beta?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
That's good, beta. Again, the same thing. How oil and gas made. Same thing. But now with detailing that. We have done the pick. Now we will do the detailing. Yes, one of you start reading.
Ma'am,
This
can
is
I?
Ma'am, can I?
just a moment. Just a moment. This is about 300 to 400 million years ago. Right, beta?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Hello. Sorry. Tiny sea plants and animals.
Ma'am, can I read?
She's already
Ma'am,
reading,
can
beta.
I read?
One
Owen
is already
Fatima.
reading. One is already reading. Who is reading it?
Narani Mahdi.
Nine more. Let her read better. And then one by one, all of you will take up the next slides. Okay? Start better.
Tiny sea plants and animals died and were buried on the
Buried.
ocean floor over time.
I said
Buried
buried.
on the ocean buried on the ocean floor. Over time, they were covered by layers of sleet and sand.
Understood now? The tiny sea plants and animals, they died. They will settle at the bottom of the sea. Yes, better. Ocean floor.
Yes,
And then they were covered by a layer of silt and sand. And that cover kept on increasing. Yes, better. The layer of silt and sand kept
yes,
on increasing. And the pressure increased, the temperature increased, and the dead remains became fossil. Right, beta? Right?
yes, ma'am.
Yes,
This
ma'am.
is 50 to 100 million years ago. Read, beta. Continue. नया name of this.
Over millions of years, the remains were buried deeper and deeper. The enormous heat and pressure turned them into oil and gas.
Now millions of years passed by. The remains, the dead bodies which were buried, it went down and down. Yes, deeper and deeper because of the pressure created, beta. Because there were too much of
Yes,
heat and pressure and this fossil fuels, not fossil fuels, sorry, these fossils, that is the dead plants, animals, they got transformed, they got changed into oil and gas.
yes.
And what we are doing now?
Today we drill down through layers of sand, sleet, and rock to reach the rock formations that contain oil and gas deposits.
What we are doing today? We are drilling it from the layers of sand, silt and rock so as to reach the deposition of oil and gas. Right, beta? Is that right? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am.
Can you hear me?
What, ma'am?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I said.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible? I'm not able
Yes,
to hear
ma'am.
you. That's why I'm asking you.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, again the same thing, but with a different presentation. Same thing, how the petroleum is formed. But now we are going to work with stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3, right? So how the formation of crude oil and natural gas take place, let's see. See over here, ocean. This is 300 to 400 million years ago. These are the animals, they're dying. So you can see tiny sea plants died, buried on the ocean floor, and what happened? Sedimentary rocks. What came into being? These are all sedimentary rocks. Are you understanding? So layer by layer, sediments will deposit and the pressure will start increasing. Is it clear? Are you understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Girls?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is happening? That tiny organisms will die, they will settle or sink to the bottom of the sea and they get mixed with mud and silt, and after that the layer of sediments will start forming. Is it clear?
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Stage 1. Now we come to stage 2. One of this big beta stage 2.
Ma'am, can I read?
Who is it?
Misbah.
Okay, beta, read properly but
Stage 2. Bac- Bacteria removes most of the oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus and sulfur, leaving mainly hydrogen and carbon.
first stage what we saw, the dead body got covered by the layer of silt and clay. Right beta? That is the first stage. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Second stage is what? Now the dead body starts decomposing. So who works for the decomposition? Bacteria, right, beta? So what this bacteria is doing with the dead body? It is removing oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur. And what is remaining in the dead body now? Hydrogen and carbon. And remember, petroleum is hydrocarbon. Coal is hydrocarbon. Is that understandable to you?
Yes, ma'am.
You understood now? What is petroleum? Hydrocarbon. And that's what the bacteria does. It leaves hydrogen and carbon in the dead body. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
See this. This is
Yes,
ocean
ma'am.
550 to 100 million years ago. You got sedimentary rock. Under the sedimentary rock, plant and animal remains. So you know that pressure, right, beta? Yes. And then it changed into oil and gas. So this will now change to oil and gas. So we see the third stage. Stage three.
Stage 3. Lack of oxygen at the bottom of sea keeps the animals and plants from decaying completely. The partially
Partially.
decom-
Partially.
the partially
Partially.
decompose partially the partially decomposed organisms create a slimy mass which is then covered with layers of sediments.
Thank you. Now stage 3 is what? Now it is transforming into oil and gas. Now in the bacteria, they have already transformed a bit of dead bodies of plants and animals. We know that there is no oxygen at the bottom of sea. So what is happening? The animals and the plants remain will not decompose completely. So they are partially decomposed. You understanding? They are not decayed. They are half decayed because there is no air present over there. So now this partially decomposed organism, they produce a very mucilage-like substances, very slimy, very gelatinous-like substances. You know, it's like jelly. You know what is jelly, beta? Hello, girls, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
You know what is jelly? Gel-like substance, jelly. You know what is jelly?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Oh, that is called slimy. That feel is called as slimy. You understand? So jet-like substances it produces, and then that is covered with the layers of sediments. Okay? So this is the third
Yes,
step.
ma'am.
Now we come to the fourth step. Read beta.
Ma'am, can I read?
Stage
Owen Fatima, is that you?
No, she's Himani Sakila.
Bhimani Sakina. Where is Owen Fatima? Ask her to read beta. Then Bhimani Sakina will
I
come up.
think-
Is she there, Owen Fatima?
Ma'am, she's
own
not
Fatima
there.
is not the
Not there. Okay. Because I heard her. She wanted to read, so I thought that maybe. Okay, Bhimani Sakina. Read beta.
Stage 4. Over millions of years, many layers of sediments piled on top of the once living organism. When the depth of burial reaches about 10,000 feet, natural heat of the earth and intense pressure combine to act upon the mass. The end result, over time, is the formation of the petroleum.
Thank you. Well done. Sakina, improved. Did I say that
Yes.
earlier? Is
What,
that
ma'am?
you, Sakina Bhimani? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you read it very well. Good.
Thank you, ma'am.
The typical pause during punctuations, the flow, the stress, I enjoyed. So this is what I want. That you grip the crowd when you are dealing with certain topics, uh, and it all depends upon the speaker to make it interesting, and you will do that with it. So keep on, don't stop the good act, the good work. Still, you keep on practicing. Don't stop it. Okay, beta.
Okay, ma'am.
So now, millions of years, sediment keeps on piling up. That means one on top of the other. It keeps on increasing. That is called as piling up. On the organisms that are dead. When this depth, that means the sediment, reaches around 10,000 feet, can you imagine? The sediment reaches around 10,000 feet. The heat of the earth and the pressure starts working on these dead bodies, right, beta? What happens? We get the petroleum. What we get, beta? We get the petrol. Here you can see. Now, this is the sedimentary rock. Just imagine the pile upon pile. You can see this is the heap, and this becomes sedimentary rock. This is understandable to you? What a pressure it must have had. See? Intense pressure. And with this intense pressure, we get this oil and gas deposits. Is this clear? Is this clear,
Yes,
beta?
ma'am.
Continue, continue, beta. Fast.
Okay, ma'am. Petroleum deposits are locked in porous rock, almost like a water is trapped in a wet sponge. When crude oil becomes out of the ground, it can be as thin as the water or as thin as the tar.
There is the. Why did you use the? There's no the over here. Why are you using it? What are
Sorry,
you
ma'am.
using it? See, I appreciated you. So let my appreciation stays for long. There is not required. It will become a wrong English. The language will go wrong better. So see to it. It was not required. There is not required because tar is noun, and you generally don't put the in front of a noun except the Himalayas, the Ganges. Only there are exceptional cases. Is it understandable?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, where do you get petroleum? You generally get it in porous rocks. They are locked. Locked means they are inside these porous rocks. As you get in sponge, when you wet the sponge and then you just squeeze it, water comes out. Same way, from the rock, the petroleum comes out. Now this crude oil, we get it from the ground. Now that crude oil could be so thin that you can compare it with water, and it could be thick also that you can compare it with coal tar. I hope you understood the comparison. So petroleum could be so thin as water, running water, and it could be so thick as coal tar. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now petroleum and natural gas deposits. Where do you get from under the earth? Let's see. These are wells. What are these called as the drills? These are called as wells. What are they called as with the wells? Okay. So you drill for the petroleum and the natural gas. See over here. Got it? All of you understood? All of you
Yes, ma'am.
understood? What are these? These are rocks. What are these? These are rocks. It's a layer of rocks, sedimentary rocks, right, beta? Is this clear? But they're
Yes.
impervious. What is the meaning? The water cannot go inside. The water cannot go inside these rocks. Is this clear? So they're impervious. Okay? Now see. There's a pocket. See, this is the pocket. You first get gas over here. What you get? Gas. So this is gas. Why? Because gas is lightest of all. So on top you get gas. So when you're drilling it, you get gas. That means you will get petroleum also. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So now if you get gas, that means petroleum is there. You will find petroleum 100%. Is this clear to all of you? Then it is followed by oil, petroleum. See, this is the layer. This you will have oil. Is this clear? Because oil
Yes,
is
ma'am.
heavier than gas. Oil is heavier than gas. Then below that, you will get water. What you will get? What you will get? Water. Because it is heaviest of all. Oil is lighter than water. Gas is lighter than oil. So you can see, first you will get gas, followed by petroleum, and then water. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Is this clear, beta? This is how you drill the petroleum from the bottom of the earth. Any problem?
no.
Okay. Things are getting clear to you?
Yes,
Okay? Read now.
yes, ma'am.
Read.
Ma'am, can I read?
Yeah, yeah, sure. I still want to
Coal
finish two
provides
more
around
slides, better. Make it fast.
28%. Yes, coal provides around 28% of our energy, and oil provides 40%. Crude oil, called petroleum, is easier to get out of the ground than coal as it can flow along pipes, which also make it cheaper to transport.
Now we are comparing coal and petroleum, right, beta? So coal is giving us
Yes,
28% energy. Energy it's giving 28%, whereas petroleum is giving maximum that is 40%. We also know that. We use more petroleum than coal, right? Now what is crude
yes,
oil? Now, crude oil is called as petroleum. What it is called? Petroleum is called crude oil.
petroleum.
Now you are getting it from the ground. Simple, you are getting it from the ground. And it can flow through pipes. Petrol can flow through pipes. So what it makes? It makes cheaper transport. You understand? Whereas coal, you cannot carry it in the pipes. You have to carry it with the help of trucks. Is this clear? The comparison I'm saying?
Yes,
So petroleum
yes,
transportation is easier than coal transportation. Is it clear? Is it clear?
yes,
You can see over here, this is coal, packaging of coal, okay, in the trucks. And here, you can see this is the petroleum, drilling of the petroleum. Right, beta?
yes.
Now, how to use this petroleum? What is the mechanism? Read.
We can't use crude oil as it comes out of the ground. We must change it into fuels that we can use. The first stop for crude oil is at an oil refinery. Refinery is a factory that processes oil.
That's it. Now, this crude oil we are getting, or the petroleum we are getting from the earth, right, beta? Deep down the sea or the earth,
Yes,
because it's coming off the ground. Now, that is having a mixture, that's having impurities of so many other unwanted things, right, beta, which we are not wanting it. So, what we should do? We should change it for our use, right, beta? We should change it to
yes,
the fuels that we can use. So, how do we do it? So we have to use this crude oil and send it to the oil refinery. Where should we send it, beta? Where should we
oil
send it?
refinery.
And what is this refinery doing? It is a type of factory that processes oil, that cleans oil. What is the other way? That refines oil. Is it clear?
Yes,
It is clearing the oil, cleaning the oil, right? Next. So what is
yes,
refinery
ma'am.
doing? Let's see.
The refinery cleans and separates the crude oil into many fuels and products. The most important one is gasoline. Other
Gasoline.
petroleum produce Other petroleum products are diesel fuel, heating oil and jet fuel. Industries uses petroleum to make plastics and many other products.
Now we have put this petroleum to the refinery, oil refinery. Now what is the function of oil refinery? They will start cleaning and they separate this oil into many types of fuels, different types of fuels as kerosene, diesel, petrol, you understand? And other byproducts as well.
Yes,
The most important fuel is gasoline. What is gasoline? It is petrol. You understand now? I'm giving you. What is gasoline? It is petrol. Now, the other petroleum
petrol.
products we get as diesel, we have the heating oil, we have the jet fuel. Now, what is called jet fuel? Which we are using it for aviation, that is in the aeroplanes. Now, industry is also using petroleum. Why? So that they can make plastics and other products as well. So, plastics are also a byproduct of petroleum. Remember that. So this is the refinery. This is how the refinery looks like.
Yes,
Okay, beta? This is the petroleum refinery. This is how it looks like. Okay?
yes. Refining of petroleum. Petroleum is dark oily liquid. It has an unpleasant odor. It is a mixture of various constituents such as petroleum gas, petrol, diesel, lubricating oil, paraffin wax, etc.
Paraffin wax. It's paraffin.
Paraffin wax.
Then
The process of separating the various constituent fractions of petroleum is known as refining. It is carried out in a petroleum refinery.
this is how the refinery looks. See. Okay, this is how the refinery looks. Petroleum refinery.
Yes,
What is petroleum by the way? I told you it could be like water or it could be like a coal tar. So generally, whenever we get, it is like a coal tar only. It is dark, oily liquid, very bad smell. Unpleasant means bad odorous smell because it has got a mixture of petroleum gas, petrol, diesel, lubricating oil is grease, paraffin wax. It's all mixed in that petroleum crude oil.
Yes.
When we process it to separate all these constituents, so we are separating paraffin wax, we are separating petrol, diesel, kerosene, grease. Are you understanding? We are separating all these things from the petroleum,
Yes.
raw petroleum, crude petroleum. This process of fractional distillation in the refinery is known as refining. So, with it is carried out, beta, it is carried out in petroleum refinery. Is this clear?
This one. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, beta. Now, let me see what are the petroleum made up of and what are their uses. I will read it out. Petroleum
Yes.
gas in liquid form, which is CNG, that is compressed natural gas. I think you know about it, CNG, beta. So, where are we using? We are using at home and industry. So, we are cooking food with the help of CNG, even LPG, both. Petrol. Petrol is used as motor fuel. We run our motors due to petrol, aviation fuel in aeroplanes, and solvent for dry cleaning. The dry cleaning clothes that go for, it is actually washed in petrol. Kerosene. We are using in stoves, lamps, and even in jet aircraft, that is in aeroplanes. Diesel. For heavy motor vehicles, we use it, and also for electrical generators. Lubricating oil. For in lubrication, for example, in grease, this we are using in door hinges, sometime in fan, and in sewing machine. Paraffin wax. We use it for creams, making candles, and Vaseline. I think you know what is Vaseline, better. There we are using paraffin wax. Then we have
Yes.
bitumen. Then we have bitumen. The bitumen these days, we used to use coal tar, remember, for the finishing procedure for making roads, we used to have coal tar. But nowadays, instead of coal tar, we are using bitumen. What are we using, beta? Bitumen for road surfacing and also in paints. I hope you have to just remember, you have to learn all these uh, uses of petroleum products. Okay, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now see the types of petroleum. Is the recording still on?
Yes.
Okay. Now read these types of petroleum.
Yes. Types of petroleum. Petrochemicals, fuel oils, gasoline,
Gasoline.
kerosene.
Okay, that's it. So the types of petroleum are petrochemicals, fuel oils, gasoline, kerosene. So you can see over here, all these are fuel oil. Okay. Uses of petroleum product. Read better. Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can I read?
You read better.
Use of petroleum products. Petroleum may be taken to oil refineries and hydrogen chemicals separated by
No. No,
yes,
beta.
ma'am.
It is hydrocarbon. There is no hydrogen. Read properly. That's what I told you. It is hydrocarbon. What is written?
Hydrocarbon.
Continue.
Hyd- hydrocarbon chemicals separated by distillation and treated by other
Distillation. Distillation.
distillation distillation and treated by other chemical processes to be used for a variety of purposes like asphalt, asphalt,
That's fine. Then what is written?
diesel fuel, li- liquefy, liqui-
Liquefied petroleum gas.
liquefied petroleum gas, lubricate oils.
So now this petroleum, it goes to oil refineries, right, beta? And what are we removing? We are removing hydrocarbon chemicals. How? By distillation. How we are removing with a distillation method. And then we treat by other chemical processes so that we can use it further. What we remove first is asphalt, then second is diesel fuel and LPG, right beta? Third is lubricating oil. So these are removed one by one with the help of chemical processes of the petroleum, that is a crude petroleum. Is this clear? Is this clear? Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am.
Yes. Is the recording stop still on?
Still on.
Yes, it's on.
Still on. The time is up. So I think we will close it today. It's 11 o'clock already, beta.
Yes.
Right? Have you learned something today?
Yes.
How much have you learned? We took two lectures. Was it interesting? Learn something new?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. You will never forget it, right, beta?
Yes.
Okay. So fine, we call it a day. Enjoy the rest of the day, beta.
Yes.
And be good to your parents always. I repeat, be good to your
Bye, ma'am.
parents. Bye, beta.
Have a good day.
Bye, ma'am.
Ma'am, bye.